Hi, everyone. Welcome to Control+M Presents, our weekly session where we share a little bit of what we know with you. It's our goal here at Control+M to be education-focused partner. We feel the more that you know, the better off the whole Plex community will be, and that's good for everyone. As a reminder, we've got you all on mute so that we can record this session and publish it out on our YouTube channel along with all of our other sessions. If you haven't checked that out yet, please take a few minutes to go out there, look for content, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. There's no obligation, and there's a bunch of great work out there for both UX and classic customers in both English and Spanish. Today, our Jenn Berry is going to talk about the new UX document automation feature. Jenn has been working with Plex for a number of years, both classic and UX, and she's been a rock star with Control+M for about a year now. She's pretty well known in the food and beverage industry, and we sure are happy to have her with us. She's going to be working in UX, but even if you're just now transitioning or just thinking about transitioning to UX, this functionality can reduce your non-value added time manually in sending out documents. We do that a lot every day, right? I don't want to take any of her thunder, so without any further ado, take it away, Jenn.
All right. Well, thank you, Ken, for that awesome introduction. Really appreciate that. I guess we can go ahead and get started. So today, what we're going to be talking about is the new document delivery system that Plex has, and this is fairly new. I think it came out February, I think sometime in February this year. So it's a pretty easy way to have your documents, the AR invoices and the customer statements automatically emailed to your customers. And for today's agenda, I'm going to be going through each step of the process. There'll be screenshots with instructions on them. So if you need to go back and look at this again, you'll have a step-by-step instructional for you. And then I will be doing a live demo also on how to do that. We'll be going over, I'll be defining what the scheduled document delivery system is. I'll be telling you what the requirements are as for setting it up. We'll be looking at how to activate the delivery contacts, how to activate a recurring schedule, how to assign those contacts to the delivery system, and then how to define and assign email parameters. All right, so what is scheduled document delivery? So Plex implemented this back, like I said, in February, and what it does is it'll auto email your AR invoices and customer statements based on rules that you assign, rules and schedules. You can have these go out, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, however, whatever your choice is. They can also be defined at what level. So if you have different contacts for your customers at your address level, so one address may have a different contact than another, you can also assign rules at those levels also. I'll show you how to set up your email notification and enable that. I'll be showing you again how to set up your recurring schedule, and then we can move on to assigning the delivery rules and contacts and email parameters. So the prerequisites for using the delivery system is to, number one, make sure that you have customer contacts already assigned at your customer record. So they don't have to have any specific contact type or anything assigned to it. As long as you have a name and an email address, that's fine. After you make sure that those are set up, you'll need to make sure that your automatic email notification is enabled. And this is done at the email notification manager screen. After that's enabled, Then you'll have to make sure that your recurring schedule is set up. And then after that, we can move on to the activating your contacts at the customer level or the address level. So the first step after making sure that your contacts are in is to enable your email notification. So that's at the email notification manager screen, and you would just navigate to that screen, click add, and then when your screen pops up in the email notification filter, you can click on that little magnifying glass, and you have choices of automatic AR invoice email at the company scope or customer scope, as well as the automatic customer statement in those two scopes also, as well as notifications for email failures. So just to kind of give you an idea what the company scope and customer scope, what the differences are there. The company scope would be, if you enabled that, it would mean that all of your customers are linked to that notification. At the customer scope, you can pick and choose what customers you want those notifications to go to. So after that is set up, you would need to then go to the recurring schedule screen and add in your new schedule. And some of you may be already familiar with this. If you have PMs set up on a schedule, the difference is here that when you choose that module, the module field will need to be scheduled document delivery. Now, that module will not show up as an option if you did not turn on your automatic email notification first. So for this example, I'm going to be, for today, for the screenshots, we're going to just be using a daily example. So I have it set up for those emails to shoot out Monday through Friday. Once that is set up, we can move on to our setting up our contacts and activating those contacts. So this is where it's going to be new for anyone who's not currently using this. So, oh, one more thing I'm going to say is that if you try to navigate to the delivery contacts and activation screen and it does not show up as an option, you'll have to put a case into Plex to have them enable that. I did come across some customers that it was not already enabled, so we had to enter a case for Plex to enable this process. So you want to navigate to the delivery contacts and activation screen. If you choose an open search, it's going to pull up all of your customers. Now, if you know that you want, your, let's say, invoices to go out to all of your customers, this is a quick and easy way to assign the email, the recipients to your customers, is just by doing an open search and they'll all show up. Otherwise, if you're doing it one at a time, you can enter in your customer code and then do a search. So for this example, I just entered in our customer of CAP 300 and hit search, and that would come up. And we have two options: the accounts receivable invoices and the customer statements. And this is where you're going to be linking your contacts. So what's going to show up is, it looks like a little equal sign there. If you choose to link your contact to that record, that means that that contact will get the invoices for all of your addresses. So it's kind of like an easy way to say this is the only contact I have for all of my customer addresses. If you have different contacts for different customer addresses. Like if you have a customer who has, 10 different ship tos, and maybe, there's different people who should get those invoices, then you would assign it at the address level. For this example, I'm going to use the all addresses, that little equal sign. So I would just drill into that link right there. Once I drill into the link, my customers can come up. Now you can also do a search because you might have a lot of contacts, because it's going to show all of your contacts. You can also do a search to narrow that down by the customer. So if you can also put in the customer code up in that search box, and it would just bring up those specific customers or contacts. And then you would just choose the contact that you want to link. So now you can see that I am linked to all addresses for customer CAP 300. Once I am linked, you will need to then go under the customer active column and make sure that box is checked, and then go up and update active status. If you don't do that, it is not activated and you will not be able to set up your rules. So it's a two-step process to activating this. First, you pull in the email address, and then you have to update the active status. And then you should get a validation message saying that your record has been updated. Once you have your contacts assigned to your customer, then you can move on to the delivery schedule rules, which is at the delivery schedule rules screen. And you can just simply, once you get to that screen, click add. And then you're going to enter the information required for your schedule rule. So you can name your schedule, and you can, however you want to name it. I named ours AR invoices. The document type is going to be accounts receivable invoices. And you should have two choices. It should say account receivable invoices or customer statements. Make sure that your active box is checked. And you can also set these up and not make them active. You can set them up, before you want it to go live, and when you're ready for them, you can just come in here and check that active box, and they'll be ready to go. The rule scope that I chose for this would be customer, because I just want it to be customer specific. The notification template is the one that we enabled in our first step, the automatic AR invoice. The sender, that's going to be the sender on the email that your customer's contact receives. Some customers might have like a generic IT at Control+M .solutions. So you can use whatever email address your company sets up for that. If you want to save it to the communication log, make sure that's checked. So every email that goes out is saved in your customer's communication log. You want to pull in your schedule. Ours is daily. And then up at the filtering parameters, what this is going to do, so it's going to show you all your invoice types. And you can pick and choose. You can choose all of them, or you can just maybe choose just shipment if you don't want to automatically have credit memos and debit memos or manual invoices emailed. I chose all of them just for this example. For invoice status, it's going to pull invoice statuses that have the not printed flag checked. So you may have more than one of those statuses. You may, for instance, you may have let's just say a not printed status, and then maybe a not printed confirmed or a not printed approved, to where maybe you don't want these automatically emailed until someone checks them. And so then you could maybe pull in not printed approved whereas it won't automatically shoot out an email when that invoice is generated. It'll only shoot out the invoice when someone updates it to invoice not printed approved. Once the email does shoot out to the customer, it will change the status to a printed status. So once you do that, and you go back into your record, you're going to then have a field that says link customers. And this is where you're going to drill into that field, and then you're going to choose your address. Because the first screen, we set up our roles. This screen is where we're going to link the actual customers to that role. And you can choose which address you want to link. Do you want to link all addresses or maybe just some of them? You may have maybe EDI customers that you don't want to have automatically email invoices to. So you can pick and choose at which address you want to have those invoices sent to. I chose all addresses for this example. Now, if you get an error message or a message that says customer is not active for scheduled delivery, that means that you did not update that active status on our previous step when we were setting up the contacts. And I've done this several times, that I always forget to update that status. So you would just need to go back to that screen, to the contact and activation screen, and make sure that that active status box is checked and that you actually do update it. I've been known to just check the box and forget to update it. Once that's done, you can come in here and then just check the applied to box next to the code, and then OK. So we have our rule set up. We have our customer and customer address linked. Now we can go down to our email parameters and configure how we want those emails to shoot out. So you have choices of grouping the emails. You can have a customer grouping, which sends all the customers' invoices in one email. You can group it by address, which means you'll get one email per address. So you can, so if you have three different addresses set up on the rule, you're going to get 3 different emails with all the invoices for those addresses in those emails. If you say no grouping, then you're going to get an email for every single invoice for that customer. The send to, under the send to column, that will determine which contact email address that's it's going to be sent to. So if you want the invoices sent to the contact on the address, or do you want the email sent to the contact on the customer record? So you can determine which way. And once you complete this screen, your document delivery system is set up, it's active, and it's ready to go. I'm going to do a live demo for you now. And let me switch over. Now for the live demo, I already have contacts in. I did already set up the email notification, and I do already have a recurring schedule set up, so I'm not going to go through those full processes, but I will show you those screens. So for my contacts, I have contacts set up for Novak Manufacturing and General Electric. So that's what you want to make sure. They don't, like I said, they don't have to be any kind of email type or anything like that. We have our email addresses here. My email notification. I have my automatic AR invoice at the customer scope set up, and I have my automatic statement at my customer scope set up. And you can see that you can set these up with a subject text. You want your from address, and then you can have tokens for your template that will pull in the information on your invoices. Just for one more thing I almost forgot is that you do not have to assign anyone to these. The assignments are done at the delivery rule setup that we just did. So you don't have to subscribe anyone to these notifications. My recurring schedule. I have several set up, and you can see preventive maintenance. These will not show up. So if you want to do Tuesday and a Thursday for your scheduled document delivery, you're going to have to set up a new one. So the only two that's going to set up or show up will be my daily and my monthly, because these are the ones that are assigned to the module scheduled document delivery. I'll just take a look at how that's set up for daily. For daily, you want to make sure that you pull in that module scheduled document delivery, not preventive maintenance or master data management. For daily, you will use 1 week as your repeat. Your scheduled type will be days of week, and then you can check off which days of the week you want those invoices delivered. All right, so we have our contacts, we have our email notification, and we have our recurring schedule. So now we need to assign our contacts and activate our contacts. I'll just do an open search here. Well, here, I'll do by GE. And I'll set up customer statements. So my customer statements, I'll say for all my addresses, I will add in, let's do both John and Susie. You can have more than one email recipient on these. So now John and Susie will get customer statements for every address that GE has. So if they had more than one address, they would be getting the statements for all of their addresses. I want to make sure I check this active box, and this is where I always mess up. I always forget to update active status. Just checking it doesn't do that. So let's update active status. And record has been updated. So it's as simple as that. Just pull in whatever email that you want. We can then go to our rules. We want to start assigning our rules for our customer statements. We want to hit add. And we want to name our rule. And document type is going to be customer statement. You want to make sure that's active or not. You can come back and always activate it later. Our rule scope, I'm going to say customer. I like customer. Notification template will be, it'll automatically pull in the customer statement template. Sender, you can choose whoever you would want that to show on the email that goes to the customer. And then I want to save it because I want a record of these emails, whether they go out or not. My recurring schedule, I want monthly. So I have that set up to for these invoices to be sent out once a month on the first day of the month for the previous month. Invoice type, you can choose all of these, or maybe you just want to say, I just want the shipment. I want to monitor these myself. So I'll just choose shipment. My invoice status. So these are, you want to choose not printed. And then for as of date, this is a little different than the invoice rule because it's saying, okay, it's not really pulling the invoice information, it's pulling the statement. So it wants to know, actually I should have did not print it. It wants to know, what do you want to see on that statement? So you can see, well, I just want to see the printed ones. That's the ones that haven't been verified yet. And then it says, okay, as of what date? And I'll say the end of prior calendar month. So as of the end of last month, I'm sending out a statement email. And you can choose, you want that statement based on the invoice date or the due date. So you can choose either one there. And then you can say apply. We've applied that for our rules. So now our statements are going to go out the first day of the month based on the due date for only my printed status invoices. From here, we want to link our customers. I'm going to add address. And I want this for all my customer addresses for GE. And you see when I linked my let's go back. I want to show you that again. So when I pull up my customer addresses, it's actually going to pull up everything, all of my customers, which we don't have that many in our test database, but I'm sure you have a lot more. You can actually narrow down by typing in your customer code and then doing a search, and then only those will show up. So I only want this to go to all the addresses. Or actually for statement, I just wanted to go to, I just wanted to go to the headquarters. Okay, and so we're good there. We can go back. Oh, I did not save it. I'm making all these mistakes so you guys don't. So do this. I can say okay, okay, and okay. All right, there we go. So now we have our customer and our address. So our customer is linked for all addresses. After that is where we want to come down here to the email parameters and decide, how do I want to do that? Now for invoices might be a little bit different. You know, you want different contacts for different customer addresses. So you may want to group it by address. For a statement, you might want to say, no, just everything, all the invoices are just going to go to one person. So you can do it at the customer level. And then we want to send it to the customer contact. This is grayed out because I only activated email recipients to my customer to my at my customer level. I didn't do it at my address level. So if you had recipients linked to the address level, you would have the choice of clicking on the address. And then that is our rule. And that's how you set up your email notifications. I already have one in here for receivables. I have that set up for all of my invoice types and for my not printed status. I actually have all of my customers linked. And I don't have any groupings. So this is actually set up just for one invoice per, I'm sorry, one email per invoice. I can come in here and say, well, nope, for this customer, I want to group it at the customer level, at this customer. We can do the address level, and I want it based on the address email. So you can change your groupings for each customer. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Okay, well, I think we're done with the live demo. I think we can take questions now. If Ken, did you have any questions come through?
Not yet, but Jen, I just want to say thanks and great job. Well done. I'm sure there are a lot of folks that are thinking about how they can leverage this great little tool real quickly. Appreciate you sharing it with us all, and we'll open it up for questions. We'll wait for them to come through. See one here. It says, do we type questions in the chat? Yes, please. And I can unmute you all if you'd like, or you can unmute yourself to ask the questions. It doesn't have to be in chat.
Well, then I will unmute myself. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a few questions. The first one is, when we link the functionality to the address level, or if we decide that we want to link it to the customer address level, is that the bill to address or the ship to address?
It's either or. So if you here, let me see. Let me go back. I'm gonna put up my screen. It's based on.
So it'll show me all addresses. Yeah. And then if I pick the bill to address, like a lot of times we may have 20 ship to addresses, but they all are linked to one bill to. I don't want to set up 20 of these, right? I just want to select my one bill to address. And then I would assume every invoice that has that one bill to address on it would be included. Is that correct?
Your bill to address. Well, yeah, because it's based on the.
So every invoice always has a bill to and a ship to, right?
That is a good question, and I am going to have to find that out for you because I don't have an answer right now.
Yeah, because if you think about the scenario of you have 20 ship to addresses, but every one of those is linked to one bill to.
Yeah.
I would prefer, if I can set this up, picking that one bill to, because then I know all my invoices will be included. It doesn't matter what the ship to is, right?
Right.
That would make sense if I wanted all ship tos included. I'm not sure how this works, right? So that was one question, bill to or ship to. And then you said the email that goes out is saved in the customer communication log, but is it saved in the Plex email log also? Because I think that's different.
Yes, it will be saved there.
Okay. And on the schedule, so if I pick, let's say, a weekly schedule for my invoices, all that means is that on, let's say, Sunday, once a week, it's going to check if there are any invoices to send, right? There's no date restriction. So that means if I filtered on, I want all shipment invoices to go out based on the non-printed status, it would pull every invoice that is in that status regardless of when it was created.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not looking at as of when the schedule ran last time. It's just looking at anything that exists that meets that criteria, and it's just checking it once a week, basically.
Yeah.
So if I turn this on today for the first time,
no, hang on. I'm gonna have to. No, I have to change up on that. I remember testing that. It will only send it once. So if you're emailing once a week and your invoices, just say for that week, if they have not been emailed yet, it will only go once. So
right,
once it's been emailed one time, it will not do it again if that status does not change.
Right, but if the status does change, so if I manually reset an invoice to not printed from 3 months ago, it will now include it next time that schedule runs.
If you manually change it.
Yeah, so it's only looking at the
Yes.
data at the time of when it checks it. Okay.
Yes,
All
if
right.
you manually change it, it will go out again.
Okay. And then, oh, on the grouping of the emails. So if there are 5 invoices and they are all grouped and we select, I think you said that I want them all to go out in one email. Is it for 5 invoices, is it 5 PDFs in one email, or is it 5 invoices in one PDF in one email? We have, like right now, if you do a mass email manually, it would include all invoices in one giant PDF file.
Yeah.
And then we have some customers who require each invoice to be its own PDF file, but they can still all be in the same email.
Right. You're really putting me on.
It's only because
these are
now,
really good questions, because it's things that I actually have not tested that. So I'm going to test that and I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. Yeah, and the only reason I'm asking all these questions is because right now we're automating all this with our RPA, body Mac bot face process. So I already had to go through all these questions with that. And I'm trying to figure out if I can get rid of that and turn this functionality on, or if I'm going to have issues still because it can't do some things. So.
Okay.
And then last question, I promise. Is there some kind of overview report for the setup? So for example, is there like a big report that shows here is every single configuration for all customers in one giant report, so I don't have to dig through 6 screens if someone asks me a question to figure out who is or isn't set up in a certain way?
There is no report, but you would be able to see it at the delivery rules. So if you went into your, let's say, customer statement, I think has everybody. Nope, not that one. You would be able to see who is set up and who isn't from here and here. This is really the only report that's going to show you everything.
Okay, but it's by the customer and the address.
Yeah, it'll tell you here.
But it wouldn't, so it would show me the ones that are set up in some shape or form, and it would not show me the ones that are not set up, basically.
So if they're not set up, they will not be on this list.
Right, okay, all right.
Only
Okay.
the ones that are set up, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can you leave your name and email for me?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it, Jen.
You got it? Okay, thank you, Ken.
Yay,
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
Dorothy. Thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Good
Uh,
question.
Any other questions to ask? I don't see anything in chat. There was a question from Kevin, and Kevin, I'll get back with you directly. Kevin's question was about security access and actions, and there's probably more to discuss there. So Kevin, I'll contact you directly. Thank you.
Okay. I think Dorothy asked all the questions.
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate it, Dorothy.
Yeah, they were good.
So Jen, again, well done. Thanks for sharing and really digging into this new functionality and putting it through its paces. And Dorothy, yeah, we'll Jen will test and get back with you with her findings. But thanks again, Jen, for digging into this and providing this presentation. I'm sure it's something that many will use, and it keeps me from having to do it, right? So I appreciate you doing this for us.
Yeah. And Dorothy, I'll get back to you by Friday. I have to set things up and test them overnight.
Yeah, and this is not urgent at all. We're not even in UX yet. So I think I asked more for the future, but if we can somehow just let all people on this call know what the answers are, you don't just have to reply to me.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a way.
All righty.
All right. All right. We can talk about our next session. That will be coming up.
This is Claire Boston.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
sorry to butt in before you move on to the next thing. I just sent a message directly to you, but what I'm wondering, is there when you are automatically sending these invoices, is it done as an order generates into an invoice and it automatically goes, or is it held in a queue and sent all invoices by 6 p.m. so you have time to maybe go back and pull something out?
Yeah, it'll be done overnight. I think when I tested it, they came through like around 3 in the morning.
Okay.
They're not. It's all done like in one shot.
Okay.
Overnight.
System to go. It is held in the queue somewhere. Then my question is, do you have access to that queue to alter it prior to it getting set at a set time?
No, it's not really held into a queue.
Okay.
It's going to do it, I guess.
I think what it is that there's a batch process in the background that just kicks off at a specific time.
Yeah.
And then at that one time, it'll do the analysis of, okay, what do I need to do? So there's no queue. It's basically generates the queue instantly and then does it.
Yeah, it'll just fire at the time that is set for that notification.
Right.
Yeah.
And that might just be a Plex thing. I don't think we can decide at what time, right? I think that's Plex does it every morning at 2 a.m. Eastern or something. I don't know what the time is. I would assume.
That's right.
Yeah, that was my question, knowing, because most everything I do, it looks automated, but it is manually processed because there are so many pieces that are revolving. And I'm sure there's a better way to do it. I've worked in a lot of other systems, but I don't have the experience in Plex, and my information into it is very limited. So I think something should work, but I just don't know how to verify that. So I appreciate you answering that about the transmission.
Yeah, and like I said, I think when I was kind of describing when it pulls the invoice, it pulls the invoices by the invoice status of whatever is flagged as not printed. And if you were to maybe set up, another invoice status, you have one is not printed, which is the one that it automatically goes into when it's shipped. And then maybe you have another one not printed approved with the not printed flag on it. And that way you still have your options of, fixing the invoices before they're actually emailed. And then once you fix or updated the invoice, then you can manually change it to, maybe like not printed approved. And then the system is going to only look for those invoice statuses.
Okay, well, thank you again, Jen. And thanks everyone for your questions. A few weeks back, Control+M's own Shannon Hadley gave a very basic SQL presentation, and we got a few requests asking for us to do another basic session on VP screen or VisionPlex screen development. So Shannon has graciously agreed to do that in 2 weeks. When we schedule the time and date, typically on a Wednesday at noon Eastern, but 2 weeks from now, we'll send those email invitations out to everyone. But Shannon will be putting together a session that will walk you through basic screen development so that you can custom write your own screens, which was a request that came out of her session a couple of weeks back. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, for all of your questions. We understand that your time is valuable. We appreciate you spending some of that with us here today. Don't forget our YouTube channel. Go out there and watch the videos, learn some new tricks, and please leave us some feedback. Thanks, everyone, and yes.
Oh, one more thing. And if anyone has any questions, if you think of a question after this session, you can always email me at Jennifer@controlm.solutions or also Ken at controlm.solutions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thanks.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Claire.
bye-bye.
Bye.